الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. We'll continue the study of the book of Ibn Hazm رحمه الله تعالى كتاب الأخلاق والسير أو رسالة في مداواة النفوس وتهذيب الأخلاق والزهد في الرذائل. So in this book of moral conduct and behavior, we are at the very last chapter of the book, and some of the etiquette of knowledge that one need to learn to really benefit of the session of studies and have that etiquette in a way to be having the blessing really, because the etiquette in Islam is the way how to get more blessing in whatever someone is doing, because the morality and the akhlaq and the etiquette are truly what kind of beautify and maintain and safeguard the action. As they say, the etiquette and the akhlaq are the kind of play the role of the envelope or the package in which you send the gift. So if the gift is the valuable, then you go to have something, a package that contain it also has a value. And that's, subhanAllah, from the etiquette. But when it comes to the etiquette and akhlaq of Islam, it's more in depth than that, because it becomes like, hayatun rasikhatun fi nafsi. It's like kind of an innate nature in the believer that make them, subhanAllah, to be so. So you can, through this etiquette, see a person that they are modest, see a person that they are nice, see a person that polite, all of this from this akhlaq. Here they call them etiquette, that's the way, but we call them adab. And the adab, not simply etiquette, but a way of behaving, way of conducting that makes someone, part of his and her righteousness. His and her righteousness. So the Prophet ﷺ, his akhlaq, is comprehensive for every aspect of his life, but for the action itself, from the initiation to the implementation to closing the action. All of it comes with the perfection and excellence. Perfection and excellence, balanced in the best way possible. That's why he is the one who's riding over the most excellent standard or moral standard, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to his Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. Two type of people who will not be able to learn, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, قَالَ مُتَكَبِّرٌ وَحَيٍّ. مُتَكَبِّرٌ وَحَيٍّ, an arrogant person and a person that is extremely shy. The arrogant person will not ask a question. Why? Because they think they know everything. Therefore, they make an obstacle to themselves to learn anything, and this obstacle is that disease in their heart, which is the kibr. The second one, extremely shy. The extremely shy, he listens and he does not understand, but he's so shy to ask the question, to learn. Therefore, the obstacle, it was that, this negative aspect of shyness, because modesty and being shy, that's one of the great virtue, that when it comes to knowledge, someone has to have that audacity to ask, to learn. Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, she used to praise Nisa al-Ansar. قال كانت لا يمنعهن الحياء من أن تسألن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Modesty and haya, shyness, was not a factor to stop the women of the Ansar to ask the Prophet ﷺ about, their issues, the women matters and issue. They could not say, "Oh, shy from the Prophet ﷺ," we cannot say such a thing. They want to learn. This is deen. This is their religion. So if someone want and come to a session of study or knowledge, he's going to be facing three scenarios. The first one is either someone to keep quiet, the quiet of someone like ignorant, does not know anything. A person will get the reward of the intention, as we have said, witnessing, observing. And also he will be like praised and complimented and regarded, with esteem, because this person did interfere or stop the session by, questioning and bothering and so on. And also he has honored the al-mujalasa, honoring al-mujalasa, karam al-mujalasa, because when you sit with people, one of the great etiquette is to respect the people around you, then respect the whole gathering. If the gathering is quiet, you should be also observing quietness. If the gathering people, they talk, slowly or things, or in a way how they talk, how they sit, so he tried to be like among them, not to be like standing out in any way, in the way they're sitting, in the way they're talking, the way the topic. If the topic is off of the akhirah, so this person is not in the session, the study session. He's better leave. But we're talking about a study session of Islam. قال فإن لم تفعل ذلك فاسأل سؤال المتعلم. So if you're going to do act or do anything, just ask a question of a muta'allimun. Someone who asks a question seeking to learn, not seeking to put obstacle to the speaker or to the teacher or proving them wrong, because sometimes the question comes to test the teacher or to test the speaker, and that sometimes you can find some of them they really catch the person by their question, and at the same time they know that the person, he's not knowledgeable of the question. So he's like a person who wants to, in a way, show off that he knows those matters, but he does not have the mastery of those matters, And those, subhanAllah, that Ibn Hazm, blame, in a way, and criticize them. So when someone is going to ask su'al al-muta'al. That's the first thing. Ask the question of someone who wants to learn. فَتَحْصُلْ عَلَى هَذِهِ الْأَرْبَعِ الْمَحَاسِنِ. Then when you ask a question of someone who wants to learn, then you're going to have all these four benefits. That the first one was sitting quiet and watching and respecting everyone around. So he's going to be having, the reward of the good intention, to be regarded with esteem, to benefit with the honoring of the honor of the mujalasa, of the companionship that you have around, of the congregation, and mawaddatu man tujalis, and the people, they really like you, قال ثم على خامسة وهي استزادة العلم. The fifth one is you're gonna learn. So this is great. وصفة سؤال المتعلم هو أن تسأل عما لا تدري. So what are the characteristics of this particular question that help you to get all these benefits? And the reward and the honoring, and plus of that you learn, you increase in knowledge. قال أن تسأل عما لا تدري. The first characteristic, to ask on something that you do not know. Because when you do not know, the question will be expressed with sincerity, and is expressed with, you feel there is, subhanAllah, kind of a desire to learn. And that's su'al muta'al. لا عما تدري. Do not ask about things that you know. فإن سؤال عما تدريه سخف وقلة عقل. When you ask a person about something that you already know, he said قال سخف. سخف, it's like, subhanAllah, it's like you belittling yourself. It's kind of, as he's saying here, is a proof of someone who has ineptitude or weak in spirit. Because why are you asking about something that you know? Just to show that you know? قال وشغل لكلامك وقطع لزمانك. So you are like, you're wasting the time of the whole gathering. And also قال شغل لكلامك is like using your words for vain. بما لا فائدة فيه لا لك ولا لغيرك وربما أدى لاكتساب العداوات. And you might actually push in such a thing to have people have, grudge against you, because you asked something that it didn't have any benefit, and you had people to lose their focus. وربما أدى الاكتساب وهو بعد عين الفضول فيجب عليك ألا تكون فضوليا فإنها صفة سوء. So someone should not be Fuduli, it's like just talk, any talk, you know, and that's actually is a sifatu su, has the attribute of something fault, wrong, you know. And someone fudul is like playing games, you know, that's not right. طيب, فإن أجابك, now if the teacher or the scholar will answer you, فإن أجابك الذي سألت بما فيه كفاية لك فاقطع الكلام. If he responds you or replies with a satisfactory question, then stop questioning. Stop questioning. That's the etiquette. He answered, he stopped questioning. فاقطع وإن لم يجبك بما فيه كفاية, but if the answer was not satisfactory to you, أو أجابك بما لا تفهم فقل له لم أفهم, or he answered you an answer that you didn't comprehend, so say I didn't understand. And that's the etiquette, because you want to learn. I didn't understand. واستزده, and ask nicely to help you understand. فإن لم يزدك بيانا وسكت أو أعاد عليك الكلام الأول ولا مزيد. So if he didn't add more clarification, or he just repeated what he already told you, you better keep quiet. That's it. It ends there. SubhanAllah, look, the qadr, this is the etiquette with the adab. He ends there. فأمسك عنه وإلا حصلت على الشر. If you're going to continue, then you look like you're disputing. And then one is going to get down and people, they're going to be like staring at you. So you better stop there. You better stop there. قال وإلا والعداوة ولم تحصل على ما تريد من الزيادة, and you will not be able to get from what you intended to get from increasing in knowledge. الوجه الثالث, the third scenario, أن تراجع مراجعة العالم وصفة ذلك أن تعارض جوابه بما ينقضه نقضا بينا. The third is you can riposte as a scholar would. A scholar would, how he going to do? That is to say that you can reply to the argument advanced in a way that refutes them clearly, so you have an evidence, but in a nice way. Even when we had learned before, if your teacher says something that it might not be, the better opinion in the matter, you not say like you're wrong. No, there is etiquette. You can say in a nice way. You say, Sheikh, maybe there is another opinion. So when you say there is another opinion, with the modesty of the Sheikh, he said, can you share it? So he said the other opinion is this and this and this. It might be, and the evidence is this. So then he realized that what you have is a stronger argument than his. So you got to say, MashaAllah, this is good. This is good. I can, review it, I can study it, and so on. So if someone is going to give something, first with a good etiquette, you don't say like you're saying wrong. Saying, what you're saying, it might have another opinion, and this argument has this evidence, and then this is how a scholar will do and will reply to clarify the matter. So, قال فإن لم يكن ذلك عندك ولم يكن عندك إلا تكرار قولك أو المعارضة بما لا يراه خصمك معارضة فأمسك. If you do not have this qualification and you do not have the ability, but you keep saying the same thing, then you should stop, because you're becoming arguing and disputing without having the right evidence. Therefore you should stop. وعلى فإنك لا تحصل بتكرار, because if you cannot repeat, you're not going to have any reward and you're not going to learn. ولا على تعلم بل على الغيظ لك. What you're going to cause people to have, a grudge against you and maybe dispute you and even have enmity, because in this session of studies, not maybe like today. Today is very quiet, mashallah. Wallahu a'lam. But before, for example, Ibn Hazm, he has always dispute and argument, especially that he has a new madhab or following a madhab al-Zahiri, which is against the madhab al-Maliki, which is the dominant madhab in Al-Andalus. So he always used, mashallah, to be fighting. Even his writing, when you read his writing, the way he's disputing the argument, for example, of the Shafi and Hanafi, and it's like, has a sword and slaying them all. So Ibn Hazm is known. I mean, and this might be a book that he wrote it toward the end of his life when he became like a quiet and calm. But mashallah, he's one of the greatest scholars known in the history of the Muslim scholar. قال وإياك وسؤال المعنت وإياك وسؤال المعنت. So now to enter in a position where that the Prophet ﷺ prohibited really. I don't know if he mentioned the hadith here. قال وإياك وسؤال المعنت. Who is the mu'annat? Someone who's looking a prejudiced person. Someone who want to really cause issue. Someone who want to, not learning, really to cause problem. Will ask, قال سؤال معنت ومراجعة المكابر الذي يطلب الغلبة بغير علم. Al-Mukabir is the arrogant and the one who's like disputing with no knowledge. And he wants for his opinion to prevail. الإمام الشافعي قال ما جدلني أحد إلا غلبت. There is no one that he came to dispute with me. I showed him with a better evidence, that my opinion is stronger than his. But Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah ta'ala, said, a person come to argue with me in mas'ala, I wish that he had the right opinion. That's modesty. I wish that he had the right opinion because I want to learn. But this person, this type of people, he come to make his opinion prevail. So mukabir wa mu'annat, with no knowledge. So for this reason, Al-Imam Shafi'i قال, but the only person who defeated me, the ignorant one, because he does not understand. The same is being narrated on Imam Ahmad. Every time who is going to defeat you is the ignorant one. Why? Because he does not have the etiquette and he does not have the knowledge. Though he can pushing, you won, just go. الذي يطلب الغلبة بغير علم فهما خلقاس. These are two والعياذ بالله ill character دليلان على قلة الدين. It is actually a sign of someone has a lack in his faith in deen. وكثرة الفضول. الفضول is like the wasteful of words and the vain talk. Talking with no benefit. وضعف العقل, weakness in the spirit. وقوة السخف, someone is like, subhanallah, almost like, stupid. وحسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. That's how he continued. I mean, he could not even finish to describe these people. Say, وقال وحسبي الله ونعم الوكيل. These people, you do not even, if you see them in your session of studies all around you, as a student of knowledge, better to ask them nicely to not be around you. وإذا ورد عليك خطاب بلسان. This is very important. If you have received a statement verbally, أو هجمت على كلام في كتاب, or if you come across a written text, how are you going to treat that? This is very important. There are some people, subhanAllah, they have already preconceived idea. They know. They have this idea that they know. So when they open their book, the first thing that they open, they want to criticize it. This book, astaghfirullah, look what he's writing. And then he does not even look at the author. Maybe the author, Imam Al-Ghazali or Ibn Hazm. So it's like, or Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. So you look at the book, he said, what this? No. Look, this, I'm sure this is da'if. You didn't even read it. Who told you the hadith? فيقول أو هجمت على كلام فيه فإياك أن تقابله مقابلة المغاضبة الباعثة على المغالبة قبل أن تتيقن بطلانه ببرهان خطأ. So be careful. Be careful to react violently with anger, and you just already saying this is, you're already in your preconceived idea that this is a bad book. So you open it angry, you want to criticize, and it just looked at the fault in it, or mistakes or contradiction. If you do that, you're not going to learn, you're not going to understand anything of this book, or anything of this text, or anything of this article. قال, reacting violently, which will bring about excesses in language before you have assured yourself by irrefutable proof that the idea expressed are erroneous or wrong. Before, you cannot, subhanAllah, judge a book or a statement or an article before you read it, and then you have irrefutable evidence that this is wrong. So why from the first, as soon as you open it, you're like, subhanAllah, criticizing, and you already have judged that this thing is, or like this statement or this text or this article or this matter, the way he had discussed, is wrong. So that's the first thing. فَلَا تُقْبِلْ عَلَيْهِ إِقْبَالَ الْمُصَدِّقِ. So this is the first aspect. The second aspect also, not because coming from a scholar you listen to, or from a sheikh you love, or from someone who has already, read to him, like تُقْبِلُ عَلَيْهِ كما قال هنا تُقْبِلُ عَلَيْهِ إِقْبَالَ الْمُصَدِّقِ. You open it and you believe in it like the Quran. It's like you're reading the Quran. It's like, wow, Allahu Akbar, Allah, look. He didn't even read it. So subhanAllah, the influence of for example, the person, how he's known or fame, or so subhanAllah, this is very important. We do not have in Islam, to sanctify the leaders or the scholars, or to regard them as high level, like, in the priesthood, where they call them in the church and everything. No. These people who are, people give them the opportunity and the blessing to learn, but subhanAllah, it does not mean what they're saying is always good or always right. You read to inspire yourself. Don't you read like blindly what they're saying is right. Oh, so he talked about this matter concerning this matter. We're talking even about, current issues. It's like, subhanAllah, it's like what he said, it becomes the norm. It becomes the Quran to go back to when it comes to this matter. That's wrong. There are so many people talking in the time of the COVID. Everyone has his idea how to close the masjid, how to do this and do this. And then all of them, they have been proven wrong, but what happened later on, And but when the beginning, when the people, they said it, it becomes some of the people, they were like anyone who says anything not aligned with those scholars, he becomes like the outcast. He's like the ignorant, the outcast. Why you accepting the opinion of this one and you don't accept the opinion of the other one? Because this one is more famous and he has, for example, more followers. Well, this is the thing that he's talking about. فلا تقبل عليه إقبال المصدق به المستحسن إياه قبل علمك بصحته. So do not accept it and open it. You are already believing everything and acknowledging and affirming what everything is said. You open it like you open your heart to everything. It's like subhanAllah, you're absorbing, you're not reading. قبل علمك, before you know that what it has been or written or said is sound, authentic. It has burhan, it has dalil, So then you can accept it. فَتَظْلِمْ فِي كِلَا الْوَجْهَيْنِ نَفْسِكَ. In both sides scenario, you are causing transgression to yourself. You're being unjustly, in a way, dealing yourself. So not an excessive enthusiasm to accept it, not an excessive denial and anger before even you read the book, because you heard it's like for someone, for example, that you don't like, their movement or you heard about this person, maybe he's not good. It's like you are depriving yourself from the knowledge of these people, One of these scholars, he entered to the halaqah of Imam al-Daraqutni. Imam al-Daraqutni was one of the great scholar of hadith. He said, I said, and he said something I didn't like. I left. So this person, he's one of these. He's Rufus. So he didn't even have patience to listen and to say what the Imam is saying. But the first sentences, he didn't like it. He felt that this one is not a good teacher. He this and this, so he left. But in reality, he was arrogant. After years and years and seeing the books of Imam al-Daraqutni all over and people studying them, he said, then he had like deep regret. He said, look at myself, how much I have deprived myself from such a great Imam by just, unlike, subhanallah, an ill idea or opinion that I felt myself, no, he's not good. Where is your modesty? Where is your humbleness? So he's, subhanallah, blaming himself to lose all these years of study with the Imam after he saw his books later on. You know why? Because of an action of weakness of spirit, of arrogance in the heart, and of, rejecting in a way things that he didn't like. How can we having a benefit? فقال فَتَظْلِمْ فِي كِلَا الْوَجْهَيْنِ نَفْسَكَ وَتَبْعُدَ عَنْ إِدْرَاكِ الْحَقِيقَةِ. So not only you transgress yourself in both statements, in both cases, but you're going to have conceiving and perceiving the truth, you are going to distance yourself from it. So it's going to be for you difficult to learn the truth. Why? Because who the obstacle is yourself. Because you didn't have the right etiquette. And you see, this etiquette comes all with modesty. Modesty meaning here like being humble. قال ولكن أقبل عليه إقبال سالم القلب عن النزاع عنه والنزوع إليه. So the right etiquette, the right way, you open the book, any book. Don't judge the book. Don't have that intention, this is wrong. This is intention, like you feel like, subhanAllah, this is not good. And in the same time, don't just surrender to the book like everything is good here. So salim al-qalb, sound the heart, your heart is sound. It's like you open anything that you want to, just explore. You want to just read and to see what is about, without having all this idea, without engaging in any type of feeling or emotion or a judgment over the book, positive or negative. قال والنزوع إليه لكن إقبال مريد حظ نفسه في فهم ما سمع ورأى is someone who opened the book, who comes to the book, seeking the intention, to increase, to add more good thing to himself. في فهم ما سمع وما رأى, to trying. For example, you heard a lecture, you heard something, you have a statement, you saw something. Maybe what I'm going to read to help me understand some of the things that they have a question mark. So you already link it with something. Maybe there's a benefit in it. And then you start to read. وَالتَّزَيِّدُ بِهِ عِلْمًا. Maybe he's going to increase your knowledge. وَقُبُولِهِ إِنْ كَانَ حَسَنًا. So you accept it's good. You said, Wallah, this is good, mashallah. And then, subhanAllah, coming with that open heart, make you, subhanAllah, to be a person who able to learn, to get the benefit of the wisdom. Because then you can learn from in many books, even non-Islamic books. Because when you are close to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the non-Islamic book, subhanAllah, it becomes like you have a magnifier. You can see all these, subhanAllah, the contradiction, the conflict. But it helps you to learn their vision. When you learn their vision, then you will understand more aspects in the Quran to, subhanAllah, kind of derive from their vision answers, to answer them from the Quran with their own language. But when you open a book, for example, let's say the book of philosophy, this is kufr, type. And you close it and you didn't get anything. But when you open it, you say, okay, they said this, okay. And then you can see, subhanAllah, where they got lost, where they excelled, and when they are blind. And then you can get them all together subhanAllah, to understand the system around you, to understand these people, how they think. So this is, subhanAllah, you only can have benefit of it only when you approach the book in this way. We have students, he's writing his thesis, so he start to say, like, talking about the corruption of this and the corruption, and they are. So I told him, don't use any of these words. I said, it's like you have to be objective, because when you say corruption, you already made your conclusion before you come to the conclusion. If you say this is corrupted system, but I've given you evidence that is corrupted system, you already make your judgment. He said, Bayar kuffar. I said, I know kuffar, but your reader may be a kafir. So when he told him like he's corrupted, then you made your judgment, you're going to close the book. He said, this person, when you're going to say a system that might have defense, that might have, and we might discuss it, and so on, and then when you get the proof, evidence, step by step, he comes to the conclusion, Wallah, he said, you're going to say, yeah, he's right, So this is the way how to approach the book, or even how to write. When you write something, to write it in a way that a person, you invite them to read, not to be like someone who's judgmental, you already, and there's type of reading, writing like that, they're not good. So for example, when they start talking about, for example, a sect that they don't belong to, it's like the biggest kuffar, is like you're reading like more kuffar, those who are killing our brother in Gaza. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. طيب. قال أو رده إن كان خطأ فمضمون لك, or to refute it if it is wrong. فإذا فعلت ذلك الأجر, if you do such a thing, you get the great reward. Alhamdul Kathir, the praising from people, because you want to help people also benefit of this book. Or if you say you should not read this book, it had this and this and this. He said, can I read this book? I said, I checked it. Be careful from the introduction. Maybe you don't need to read it, but it has a lot of gems on this chapter. You can learn from them. So the person, he trusts you, because what you're telling him, it's like, subhanAllah, reflect a sincere intention, a good reflection, and without being judging, without evidence. One of the khulafa of Al-Andalus, they had prohibited the book of Al-Imam Al-Ghazali of Ihya Ulum al-Din. They have a lot of dispute, and it has been said, the book of Ihya Ulum al-Din is a book of deviation, is a book of this, of this. So subhanAllah, the people who are angry against, the way that Imam Al-Ghazali has approached his book, or what he has promoted, of tazkiyah. But people, when you say like at the tasawwuf at the time, they code the tasawwuf to be like fully far from the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Khalifa, he made an order for this book to not enter Al-Andalus. They were Maliki school, Maliki, very close to the Aqidah, Al-Sunnah, Aqidah Sunnah wal Jama'ah. But Imam Malik is very clear and very clear and clean in the Aqidah and in their, aspect of the way how they present it. One of the scholar, he get the book in his, luggage, in his mouth, and he brought it to the Khalifa. So he started to read and say, wow, this is a great book. Wow, I never read such a thing. Why our scholars, they don't write about things? He told them, Ya Khalifat al-Mu'minin wa Amir al-Mu'minin, this is the book of Al-Ghazali. He told them, what? This is the Ghazali book? He told them, yes. So he made an order to have the whole book of Al-Ghazali to come in his khilaf. So you see, so the judgment of someone already condemning a book because he heard anything about the scholar, one is not right, Al-Imam Abu Hanifa, he was like the most hated Imam in the whole, scholar world. Why? Because everybody, when we talk about Imam Abu Hanifa, he is a person who only make judgment and fatwa by his own mind. No hadith, no Quran. So if you read what Imam Sufyan al-Thawri said about Abu Hanifa, you'll be shocked. But what he said, is to protect the deen, not to criticize Abu Hanifa, because what he was saying, he didn't know Abu Hanifa. So the same of Al-Imam Al-Awza'i in Ash-Sham. Abdullah ibn al-Mubarak, he was a traveler, learning from all the great scholars. So Al-Imam Al-Awza'i, when he visited Abdullah al-Mubarak, he visited Al-Imam Al-Awza'i, told him, when you go to Baghdad, be careful of this scholar called Abu Hanifa. He said, I do, Sheikh, I do. Then one time he came back and he told him, I have some masail, I want you to review them. So Imam Al-Awza'i said, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Told him, who's the one who makes the masail? He told him, Abu Hanifa. He said, Abu Hanifa? Are you sure? He said, yes. He said, this is a man that you should not leave. You should be like sitting by his around him all the rest of your life. So you see, subhanAllah, judging without knowing. They didn't have like we have today. Yeah? This is one of the very precious, advice from the author, rahimahullah ta'ala. Then he finished this one. الأجر الجزيل والحمد الكثير وفضل العميم, and we have great quality and trait and bounties مع الوقوف على الحقيقة في أغلب الأمر. And what is the great benefit? That you're going to be able to be standing with the truth most of the time if you do such a thing. So you're going to be a fair person, a just, and help you to find the right opinion, to avoid when you avoid such a thing. We'll stop here, inshallah, until this time is up. We have two only, but inshallah we'll have more questions if we're going to finish it. Or actually we have more. If you have any question, you are welcome. نعم.